Have you ever met someone whose words are simple, but always interesting and pleasant to listen to? They are not just good at talking, but also have self-control, calm, and wisdom in every conversation. This is what Stoic philosophy teaches. Speaking is not just about expressing opinions, but also about understanding the timing, emotions, and impact of our words on others. In the age of social media and instant conversation, many people feel the need to talk more to be noticed. However, Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus taught that the beauty of speech lies in its simplicity and meaning. They believed that the most liked person is not the one who talks the most, but the one who speaks the wisest. This material will discuss the 7 Stoic principles of speaking, such as the importance of listening before speaking, speaking calmly, controlling the ego in discussions, and choosing words that build rather than destroy. By understanding these principles, we will not only become better communicators, but also more respected and liked individuals in social and professional environments. Is it possible to be more likable just by changing the way we speak? Let's explore these 7 principles and find the answer in time-tested Stoic wisdom. Silence is power. Learn to listen before you speak. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may hear more and speak less. Epictetus. Have you ever felt more comfortable with someone who listens to you attentively than with someone who keeps talking nonstop? One of the main principles of Stoicism is to control yourself before you speak, and that starts with the ability to listen. Why does silence matter more? In everyday life, we are often tempted to respond immediately when someone speaks. We want to show that we understand, that we have an interesting story to tell, or even that we want to win the conversation. However, Stoicism teaches that silence is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of holding back before speaking. He believed that by actively listening, we can better understand the situation and avoid unnecessary speech. Seneca also reminded us that most communication problems arise not from not speaking enough, but from not listening enough. Listening with full awareness. Stoic listening is not just about keeping quiet while someone else is talking. There are 3 essential elements to good listening. 1. Be fully present in the conversation. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Focus on what the other person is saying without being tempted to formulate a response in your head. 2. Keep your emotions under control. If someone criticizes or disagrees with you, don't react immediately. Practice the Stoic principle of remaining calm and seeking understanding, not victory. 3. Provide valuable responses. After listening well, then speak wisely. Don't just talk for the sake of talking. Choose words that bring benefits and don't make things worse. Stoic exercise: pause before responding. One way to practice Stoic speaking is to pause before responding. When someone is speaking, try to count to 3 seconds before responding. This gives you time to process the information, calm your emotions, and choose more appropriate words. In a noisy world, people who can listen well are social magnets. They are more respected, more trusted, and more liked. So before thinking about how to speak well, start by learning to be quiet and listen more deeply. Control your ego. Don't be thirsty for recognition. The wise man does not speak to impress, but to impart value. Seneca. In everyday conversation, many people speak not because they have something important to say, but because they want to be recognized. They want to appear smart, authoritative, or superior to the person they are talking to. Unfortunately, the harder we try to be recognized, the harder it is for others to actually like us. Stoicism teaches that ego is the greatest enemy of speech. When we speak with the urge to look good, we tend to interrupt, exaggerate, or even belittle others without realizing it. Instead of building connection, we create distance. Why does ego get in the way of conversation? Uncontrolled ego makes us 1. Talking more than listening. We feel like we always have to be the center of attention, making it difficult to make room for others. 2. Seeking validation from others. We speak not to share, but to gain praise or recognition. 3. Difficulty accepting differences of opinion. If the ego is too dominant, we will tend to be defensive and take different opinions as personal attacks. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we cannot control what others think of us, but we can control how we speak. Focus on the value we bring to the conversation, not on the image we want to project. Speaking with humility. How to speak in a way that shows wisdom without getting caught up in ego. 1. Ask more, talk less. Humble people ask more questions than they talk about themselves. This makes the other person feel appreciated and heard. 2. Use simple and clear words. Don't speak just to sound smart. Use language that is easy to understand and get straight to the point. 3. Accept that you don't always have to be right. Not every conversation has to end in victory. Sometimes admitting that you don't know everything is more impressive than trying to appear to know everything. Stoic exercise. Speak with purpose, not ego. Before speaking, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Will this be of benefit to my interlocutor? Am I speaking to share or just to show off? By resisting the ego's urge to always appear great, we will become wiser, calmer, and more popular speakers. Speak calmly, don't get carried away by emotions. Anger is a great mistake. It begins with foolishness and ends in regret. Seneca, have you ever said something in anger and then regretted it later? Or seen someone speak with such emotion that it made others uncomfortable? In Stoicism, the ability to control one's emotions while speaking is a sign of maturity and wisdom. Words spoken in anger or disappointment often do not bring solutions, but rather make things worse. People who speak with high emotions tend to lose control, sound aggressive, and are difficult to listen to well. In contrast, those who remain calm and controlled in speaking are more heard, respected, and liked. Why should emotions be controlled? 1. Emotions cloud logic. When we are angry or upset, we tend to speak without thinking. This can lead to misunderstandings or hurt others unintentionally. 2. Other people will be more defensive. If we speak in a high tone or full of emotion, the person we are talking to tends to close off and not really listen. 3. Regretting words that have already been spoken. What we say in an emotional state is hard to take back. It can damage relationships and create guilt later on. The Stoic way of speaking calmly. How can we stay calm when speaking, even in challenging situations? 1. Pause before responding. If you feel emotions rising, take a deep breath and count to 3 before speaking. This will help you think more clearly. 2. Use a steady tone of voice. A soft, controlled tone of voice shows that you are confident and not easily provoked. It also makes people more comfortable listening to you. 3. Focus on solutions, not emotions. Instead of saying, "You always do this," try changing it to, "How about we figure out a way to make this not happen again?" This approach is more constructive and doesn't make the other person feel attacked. Stoic practice, the emotional pause technique. Seneca suggests that we delay our response when we are angry. If you feel your emotions rising, try. Drink water or get distracted for a bit. Write down your feelings before saying them directly. Imagine the outcome of the conversation if you stay calm versus if you get carried away by emotion. By practicing calmness and speaking, you will be more respected, trusted, and liked in every conversation. Choose your words wisely. Don't just speak. Speak only when your words are better than silence. Epictetus. Words have incredible power. They can soothe or provoke, build or destroy, reconcile or divide. That is why in Stoic philosophy, speaking wisely is a skill that must be mastered by anyone who wants to be respected and liked. In our daily lives, we are often tempted to speak without thinking. We may make random comments, criticize without any clear reason, or speak just to fill the silence. However, not everything that comes to mind should be said, and not everything we want to say will be useful. Why should we choose words carefully? 1. Once spoken, words cannot be taken back. What we say can leave a lasting impression on others. Sharp words can hurt, while the right words can inspire. 2. Wise words show emotional intelligence. People who speak carefully will be more respected because they show self-control and tact in communicating. 3. People who talk too much often lose credibility. If someone talks too often without meaningful content, others will start to ignore him. On the other hand, people who speak briefly but meaningfully are more respected. Stoic principles of speaking wisely. 1. Think before you speak. Ask yourself, is this true? Is this useful? Does this need to be said? If the answer is no, it is better to remain silent. 2. Use simple and clear language. Don't speak in a long-winded or overly complicated way just to look smart. Simple but precise words will be easier to understand and accept. 3. Avoid gossip and negative talk. Seneca warns that speaking ill of others only reflects badly on our own character. Instead, use words to build up, not tear down. Stoic exercise. Speaking with mindfulness. Before speaking, try this simple exercise. Take a deep breath and repeat to yourself what you want to say. Ask whether those words will bring benefits or will just make things worse. If you are unsure, it is better to remain silent or postpone the conversation. until you are ready to speak wisely. By choosing your words carefully, you will not only be more appreciated, but you will also be more liked because every word you say carries a valuable meaning. Don't argue, prioritize understanding. The purpose of speaking is not to win, but to understand. Marcus Aurelius. Many people view conversation as a means of proving who is right. They try to dominate, argue, and force their opinions without really listening. However, in Stoic philosophy, speaking is not about winning or losing, but about understanding and calmly seeking the truth. Stoicism teaches that ego-fueled debate often leads to nothing but conflict. When two people talk only to win, not to understand, each will stick to his or her own opinion without any real progress. In contrast, the person who is able to control his or her ego and focus on understanding will be more respected and liked in conversation. Why arguing is ineffective? 1. People rarely change their minds because of debate. If someone feels attacked in a discussion, they will defend their opinion even more rather than change it. 2. Debates are often more about ego than truth. We want to appear smart or superior, but rarely really listen to other people's perspectives. Conflict can damage relationships. Sharp words in an argument can create long-lasting bad feelings. The Stoic way of avoiding unnecessary arguments. 1. Listen first, don't argue straight away. Before responding, try to understand the other person's perspective. Ask, why does he/she think that way? 2. Use questions, not loud statements. Instead of saying, that's wrong, try asking, what makes you think that? This will open up a healthier discussion. 3. Accept that you don't always have to prove yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that not every disagreement has to turn into a battle. Sometimes it is wiser to let others have their own perspective. Stoic exercise, be silent when you want to win. When you feel like arguing or proving yourself in a conversation, try. Take a breath and pause for 5 seconds before responding. Think, will this bring any benefit or just prolong the debate? If the conversation starts to get heated, redirect it with an open-ended question like, what do you think is the best solution to this? By prioritizing understanding over winning, you will be a calmer, wiser, and more respected figure in every conversation. Watch your body language and tone, not just your words. People will forget what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel. Seneca. The words we say are important, but how we say them is even more powerful. In Stoic philosophy, communication is not just about what we say, but also how we say it. A high-pitched voice, aggressive gestures, or inappropriate facial expressions can make others feel uncomfortable, even when our words are neutral. People who speak calmly, use natural gestures, and have friendly expressions will be more liked in conversations. On the other hand, those who often use a sharp tone of voice, move their hands excessively, or show an impatient expression will make people reluctant to talk to them. Why are body language and tone of voice important? 1. People read emotions more easily than they understand words. Even if someone doesn't understand the language we use, they can still feel our emotions through our tone of voice and facial expressions. 2. Wrong gestures and tone of voice can ruin the message. For example, if you want to deliver constructive criticism but use a high tone of voice and an angry expression, others will focus more on your emotions than the content of the criticism. 3. Calm communication creates comfort and trust. People who speak in a soft tone and with open body language tend to gain sympathy more easily and make the person they are talking to feel appreciated. The Stoic way of maintaining body language and tone of voice. 1. Use a steady and controlled tone of voice. Don't speak too fast or too loudly. Use a comfortable tempo and warm tone to make the conversation feel more natural. 2. Pay attention to eye contact. Avoiding too much eye contact can show insecurity, but staring too much can also be intimidating. Use eye contact sparingly. 3. Don't use excessive hand movements. Use enough gestures to emphasize your point, but avoid overly aggressive or rushed movements. Stoic exercise, be aware of how you speak. Record yourself speaking and pay attention to your tone of voice and body language. Try speaking in front of a mirror and practice a calmer, friendlier expression. Ask others for feedback on how they feel when they talk to you. By maintaining proper body language and tone of voice, you will become a more engaging and enjoyable speaker, so that others will be more comfortable and happy to talk to you. Speak with sincerity, not to please others. It is better to be hated for telling the truth than to be loved for telling a lie. Marcus Aurelius. In an effort to be liked by others, many are tempted to say what others want to hear rather than what they should say. They pretend to agree, over-compliment, or even avoid honest conversation in order to maintain good relations. However, Stoicism teaches that sincerity is far more valuable than simply seeking social acceptance. People who speak with sincerity will be more respected, even if their words are not always pleasant. They do not try to manipulate or seek personal gain through words, but speak with a sincere intention to provide benefits. Why is speaking with sincerity important? 1. Sincerity creates long-term trust. People may like you for your sweet words, but they will only trust you if you speak with honesty. 2. People can sense insincerity. Fake compliments or disingenuous approval will feel empty and can actually damage relationships. 3. Honesty that is conveyed well is more appreciated. If you have to convey something difficult, do it in a tactful and empathetic way, not in a hurtful way. The Stoic way to speak with sincerity. 1. Don't say something you don't believe. If you don't agree with something, there's no need to pretend to agree just to be accepted. Instead, express your opinion in a polite manner and respect the other person's point of view. 2. Deliver criticism with the aim of building on it. Honesty doesn't mean being rude. If you need to give criticism, focus on solutions and deliver it in a calm tone. 3. Don't talk to seek validation. If you speak just to get praise or attention, then your words lack sincerity. Make sure you speak because you have value to share, not just to be liked. Stoic exercise: speak the truth with empathy. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this true? Is this useful? Does this need to be said? If you must give criticism, use a gentle approach. I understand your point of view, but I see it differently. What do you think? Don't be afraid to remain silent if you have nothing to say. Sincerity also means knowing when to speak and when it is better to listen. By speaking with sincerity, you will not only gain more respect, but also build stronger and more meaningful relationships. People will not only like you, but they will trust you. Conclusion. 2 things we cannot take back: time that has passed and words that have been spoken. Epictetus. Speaking is a simple skill, but it has a powerful impact. The right words can build relationships, strengthen trust, and make others feel valued. Conversely, the wrong words can damage relationships, create conflict, and even leave deep wounds. Stoic philosophy teaches that speaking wisely is not just a matter of how we put our words together, but also how we control ourselves when speaking. Speaking with wisdom does not mean being perfect all the time. However, by training ourselves to be more conscious in speaking, we can build better relationships, gain the trust of others, and become a more respected person. When you are going to speak, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Will this bring any benefit to my interlocutor? Am I speaking with sincere intentions? By applying Stoic principles in speaking, we will not only be more likable, but also become wiser and calmer people in communicating.